Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Street Talk and Other Stuff. It is June. June. This is the best month of the year, okay? I love it. I love it. And one other thing that's great is that the Seattle Mariners are in first place in the American League West for the first time in 18 years. I think that's correct. Now, you know, I'm not a sports guy, okay, but that is news that everybody should be aware of. So how you doing on this June? Nice to have you. Good to be here. Just a couple things before we start. I have got a really cool guest today. But just a couple things. You know, here's a question that's been going on my mind for a long time. When a deaf person sees somebody yawn, do they think they're screaming? You ever wonder about that? And I was in a counseling session the other day with this couple. Male and female, it was marriage counseling, and I told the man, I said, mister, I said, you're being kind of selfish. And he got all upset with me. He says, well, that's not true. He said, I want a second opinion. So I said, okay, you're ugly too. So that session didn't go very well. But I was talking to another friend of mine, a person whose political and sociological and economic values and opinions don't really match mine. And while we were talking, he looked at me and said, you're talking like an idiot. And I said, well, how else am I going to get you to understand me? Okay. All right. Well, we got a good guest today. We are going to be talking to Chelan County Superior Court Judge Kristin Ferrera. She's going to be talking to us about drug court. But this is a good one, folks. And this is information that you and the community should have. So stick around, pay attention. We'll be right back. So.
Wait till your equipment breaks. This Lennox dealer can help.
Keep your home comfort system running smoothly with regular checkups from Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Call Patriot today.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling will give your home a hug.
Get up to $1,700 in rebates or special financing.
Tacos Chava has something new. Customers at Tacos Chava say it's the best Mexican food around. Nachos, enchiladas, tortas, ensaladas, and introducing camarones in many styles. You'll love the fresh salsa bar with so much selection. Are you ready for Tacos Chava? Find them at 2 great locations, the Wenatchee Valley Mall and Eniac. Tacos Chava, tan delicioso.
Vamanos junk haulers are pleased to announce they've added moving services to their list of ways to make your life easier. Vamanos Moving Service. No move is too big or small. In fact, Vamanos does it all. Vamanos employees are experienced at moving your home, office, business, and storage. They'll carefully load and unload your belongings. And for the do-it-yourselfers, Vamanos also rents trucks and cargo trailers. Call Vamanos junk haulers and moving service today to schedule your free estimate.
I wish we had something cool for the kids to do this summer. I feel like we've just done it all.
Have you heard about the 100 Days of Summer at the Rack? The kids can take a dive with swim team, challenge themselves with karate and junior workouts. It's games galore playing tennis and pickleball. No need to choose. They can try it all with the Rack Summer Multi-Sport Camps. There's fun for you too. Get fit with group fitness or work on that tan by the pool. The Rack has something for the whole family. Find all the details at wrac.org and do your 100 Days of Summer at the Rack, where we play every day.
Okay, here we are, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnetti, and I am very, very proud to introduce Superior Court Judge Kristin Ferrera.
Thank you.
Thank you for, we're honored to have you here today. It's really kind of cool.
Thank you for having me on.
It's okay. Okay, now we're going to talk specifically about the program of drug court that's coming in Chelan County, but why don't we start, tell us just a little bit about yourself so people get to know you a little bit. I like to say that I like to have guests that if you don't know them, you should, and I certainly think you fit into that category. People should know who you are.
All right, thank you. Well, I'm judge for Chelan County Superior Court, and there's 2 courts. There's District Court and Superior Court. Superior Court, we handle the felony criminal cases as well as family law cases and other civil litigation. And I've been on the bench since January, and so I'm the presiding judge for the drug court that's starting up here in a couple weeks. Actually, this week.
Okay, a little bit more. Family, education. Come
okay,
on.
all right.
I do want to say one thing. When you're in Superior Court, you're in big trouble. When you're in District Court, you're in little trouble.
right. So I have two.
That's an ex-cop's view of things.
That's a good explanation of it. So I'm married with 2 kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old daughter. And prior to being a judge, I was in civil litigation practice. So I did a variety of different areas of law, both in federal and state court. And then I actually am from Snohomish. I lived a couple different places. Prior to going to law school, I went to Western Washington University for undergraduate, and then I went to University of Washington for law school.
Oh, cool. And how long have you been an attorney?
I've been an attorney, well, I guess I should say almost 10 years I was an attorney before I became a judge.
Okay, all right. Okay, drug court. Now, this is something that a lot of people really don't understand what it means, but this is kind of your baby, right?
This is definitely something that, I've been on since we started the team and put it together. I will say it was in the process of getting the concept of Chelan County getting a drug court had started slightly before I came on, and so it was just the right timing. It was perfect timing for me to. I said, I'd like to be the one to do this, and the other judges said, okay, that sounds good. And so, but what had happened was back, I think, a couple months before I came on, the Chelan County prosecutor, Doug Shea, had said, let's get this drug court started. And so he's been on the team, as well as a couple of his deputy prosecutors, and then we have somebody from the Council for Defense, which is a defense attorney that's on the team. We have somebody from the center for the treatment provider on the team, and then we have our court administrator, Chelan County clerk. We've had a representative from the sheriff's office for a law enforcement representative. We have a very diverse group.
Yes, it sounds like you put a real, all the people involved in this particular field.
Yes.
Okay, now I know we're going to go into some details over the course of the interview today, but what is a drug court? I mean, just briefly in synopsis, tell people, what the difference is going to be.
Right. Okay. So typically with the criminal court docket, we have our regular hearings, which will include not criminal trials, but all of the other hearings. We've got preliminary appearances that happen at a certain time of the day, and then we have all of the other hearings, which are, for example, arraignment and setting trial, and sometimes plea of guilty and sentencing will also happen on a regular criminal calendar.
Okay.
We have those on Mondays and Wednesdays. Preliminary appearances happen every day of the week, but the other things happen Mondays and Wednesdays. And that is, for Chelan County, we have a judge that is assigned to those criminal calendars every month. And so every 3 months, I have the criminal calendar.
All right.
And then the next month it'll be, for example, Judge Allen, and the next month it'll be Judge McSeveny. And so that's how typically our criminal calendar works. With the drug court, we have an alternative calendar. We have a separate court docket, so a separate hearing. And right now we've got it scheduled for every 2 weeks, but we might schedule it every week depending on our needs. And it will be set specifically for people who are in the drug court. And we typically only check in with criminal defendants when there's a hearing set, for example, on arraignment, or like I said, if they've only got certain hearings. But for the drug court, it's every 2 weeks. They are coming to check in with us.
And what the drug court is basically going to be, now correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to be a civil procedure rather than a criminal one, but you could have criminal consequences if the conditions aren't met. Is that correct?
No, it's actually criminal procedure.
Okay, all right.
And so we're subject to the same constitutional requirements that, the defendant still has the constitutional rights to be represented by counsel. What happens is we'll have a roundtable kind of discussion before the hearing, and that'll include the drug court team. And then after that, then we'll have the hearing, but the judge doesn't make the decision in the staffing. The judge makes the decision in the hearing with the defendant present and also having a say in what happens. And so
the judge has a say, or the defendant has a say?
The defendant has a say. So say, for example, they did something that they shouldn't have done, and they violated the terms of their of the court's order.
Okay. Right.
And then they are going to get what we call sanctioned. It's a little bit different. We call sanctions. It could be all the way up to, it could be jail. It could be termination. Sanctions could also include something like you have to take more UAs because you had a dirty UA, and so now you have to have more.
And that's probably, the sanctions are going to depend on the circumstances.
It's going to depend on the circumstances. It's going to depend on the phase in which they are in the drug court, because there will be different phases, and if they're in the first phase, then the sanctions are going to be different than if they violate in the last phase. And so anytime there's a sanction, they'll have the opportunity to say to the judge what happened and why they think they should get this type of sanction or not get a sanction. And so that's one of their constitutional rights, is to speak. And so it is a criminal process, but it is separate because they have agreed to go through the process. We can have more requirements than we would be able to have in the regular criminal docket.
Okay, so like in a criminal thing, you just get sent to jail. But with this, they have other requirements they have to do. Is that
right? There is also.
And please don't have any problem with telling me, Mike, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, I know, and I will.
Because that's going to be no surprise to anybody.
So there are different sentences that can be imposed for somebody violating the law. One could be that they get community service. If it's a more minor violation, usually we don't have a lot of cases in Superior Court where they get that, but once in a while that happens. Some can be work crew, some can be electronic home monitoring, but more often than not we have jail or prison.
Okay.
If it is a drug offense, or it's an offense where drug or alcohol addiction contributed to the offense, then sometimes they are eligible for a drug offender sentencing alternative.
Okay.
And in that is rehab.
Okay.
And then they have terms and conditions once they're out of rehab.
And that's what they call the DOSA.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So that is an alternative that's available in the regular kind of docket.
Okay.
This is, I will just say, it's more than treatment. So not only do they go to treatment, that's a part of it, but then they also will have educational and work requirements. If they don't have their license, they eventually will work towards getting their driver's license back. They work towards getting steady employment and clean and sober housing permanently. If they have children and they've for whatever reason their children aren't with them, or they are going through dependency proceedings, then that's also part of the process. Finding them, having them find recreational activities and other types of activities that they can replace their substance use with. All of those will be requirements.
Great. See, because that's, if you don't mind me interrupting a little bit.
No, that's fine.
I mean, I do have in my mental health counseling practice, I have a number of people with substance abuse use, and I always ask them, what are you doing to have fun? And it's like, oh, what do you mean, man? Because to them, fun's going out and getting loaded. And I said, you've got to find something that makes a straight life worth living. You have to find some intellectual pursuits, something you enjoy doing.
Absolutely.
So that's great that you've got that part of it. Wow. I'm impressed with that.
And also, like I said, food and exercise, which a lot of us take for granted, but that's really important, especially if you have a drug addiction.
Sure.
You're probably not eating very healthy.
Right.
I mean, and you're focusing on the drugs rather than these are the things we need to be able to survive, our brain to be able to function better, and it also helps replace that time that's spent using drugs.
Sure.
So it's an approach that looks at every aspect of the person's life to put them in a better place. I mean, say you have somebody who started using drugs when they were 16, and so they've never learned those life skills. They've perhaps never opened a bank account. And so those are the types of things we look at the person and see what their needs are, and then we make those requirements to graduate from drug court.
See, that's something else I do with some of my clients. I mean, talk to them about just getting up and making your bed in the morning as a ritual of responsibility. And then I have a couple things to do. One of them is I go over job application tips with them. You know, what do you do? You know, what should you ask? What should you be prepared for when you go for a job?
Right.
So now drug courts obviously have been effective.
Yes.
Okay, in the past, but what's been the motivation? What's been the thing that's prompted it to get started here in Chelan County?
I think there'd been discussion about it for a long time. I'm not sure what instigated it happening now, but
Right.
I mean, I was interested in it when
Sure.
I was applying for this position, but again, I said it was just good timing.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what instigated
Okay,
it, but
all right.
yeah.
But one thing I want to do before we take a break here is that Judge Ferrera is available to give public presentations on this. This is part of her job. Okay, so how would people contact you if they want you to do this?
To talk about, so that is, that's a part of my role.
Right.
So we have our handbook in terms of what the drug court policies and procedures are. And a part of my role as the judge for the drug court is to reach out to the community and educate the community about what drug court is. It's also actually part of our judicial ethics, is that our job as judges to get out into the community and explain what we do. And so you can call the Superior Court.
Okay.
And
Superior Court Clerk's office?
That's the clerk's office, and say that you'd like to have the judge or the team talk about doing a presentation. Sometimes I'm the one who does the presentation. Other times other members of the team will join me, and so it'll all depend on our schedules and who's interested.
Yeah, and of course you can, maddog@nwi.net. You can contact me and I can get this information to the judge and her team. So if you or your group need a presentation on this, this is part of what your job is. So.
It is, yes.
Okay, well, we need to take a break. So Street Talk and other stuff, Mad Dog Magnati, we're talking with Superior Court Judge Kristin Ferrera.
Yes.
About drug court, and we're going to have some more specific questions about how this court's going to work and what it is when we get back. So, hey, stick around. We'll be right back. So.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing Honey Blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Chamberlain here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Let us make your dream of home ownership a reality. We're here to guide you through the loan process every step of the way. Check out our convenient online application. Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, your home for loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
Just as we went on the air, Steve, NCW Life is live now on Facebook.
Hey, how's about that? We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Dan Kuntz, your host for the next hour.
Every weekday, starting at 7 o'clock.
Get ready for a bunch of news that's coming your way.
Here's what's happening around North Central Washington. I'll have a rundown of all your local, regional, and statewide news. You can also find more on our website at ncwlife.com. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. That's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on NCW Life News.
What's your automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes. My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Okay, we are back. We're talking with Chelan Court Superior Court Judge Kristin Ferrera about the drug court program that actually is in place already. Is that correct? It started?
It's starting on Thursday.
Oh, okay, great, cool. All right, well, how is drug court going to work? Break it down to the practicality of it.
Okay, so the way that it works is somebody who has committed an offense, and it doesn't have to be a drug offense, but it will be an offense that, for whatever reason, substance use contributed to that offense. So, for example, say somebody committed theft, but they they did that to feed their drug habit.
Right.
Then that's the type of thing we'll take a look at. That either the defense attorney or the prosecutor or both will recommend that this person look at the drug court program. If they're interested in it, then we have a bunch of forms that people fill out, and then they come to court and say, I'd like to do this, and then we send them off to the treatment provider to get an evaluation. And once that evaluation comes back, we look at it as a team and decide, does this person qualify for drug court? Because they have to want to get treatment and get better. It cannot be because they're trying to get out of jail or they're trying to get a felony.
Okay, so how are you going to differentiate between that? Because, I mean, we both know the reality. I mean, that's what... Go ahead. I asked the question.
Right. No, I mean, and that's a part of it. We were relying on the treatment provider to determine, because a lot of times when they do these evaluations, well, I shouldn't say a lot of times, sometimes when they do these evaluations, they determine, for example, for the DOSAs, this person is not a good candidate.
Okay.
They can tell, they have the training and experience to be able to tell that this person is not committed to getting better at this point.
Okay. All right. Great. And this, is it the center who's going to be doing these evaluations?
Yes,
okay,
it is.
All right.
And I will say that I think there's going to be a 2-week, so once they enter into drug court, might get this wrong, I think actually now it's going to be a 3-week kind of transitional period where they can start the process, and if they say, this isn't for me, then they can get out, and then they won't have any consequences. They go back through the regular system.
Okay, all right.
After that, that initial period, then if they decide to terminate, we will have a bench trial, and that means that the judge has a trial and takes the affidavit of probable cause, which is the police report typically, and will decide the case based on the police report. So they're essentially admitting to all of everything that the police report says, and that's how then they'll get sentenced.
Okay, so this will be a bench trial, not a jury trial. They pretty much said this is what they go into the program and then want to get out of it. They pretty much agreed that this is what the process is going to be.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
And so if they get terminated or they leave after that 3-week period, then they are going to get sentenced.
Okay.
And so the thing about it is they could get jail time being in the program.
Okay.
That can be a part of one of their sanctions.
Okay.
So if they did something more serious, there's a good chance they're going to get some jail time. So it's not that they don't get jail time by being in the program. And for some people, the treatment part of it isn't the hard part. It's the staying clean and doing all of these other things that we're going to require of them. And so we're going to be really clear with people starting out, this is going to be harder than treatment. It's going to be harder than jail. And so I think that will also kind of weed out some people based on that, because they have to be really committed to changing their life.
Right. What is it going to take for a person to qualify? What are you going to be looking at?
Well, we're going to, like I said, we're going to be looking at a crime that is related to drug use in some way. And also then there are certain violent offenses that will not qualify. So, and we have in mind those things. If it's a violent offense, that's not the type of qualifying offense. If they have a record of strikes in the last certain number of years, and strike offense meaning a serious felony, then they won't qualify.
Right, okay.
And so we are looking at a specific group of individuals that qualifies for this. Once they do qualify, then the prosecutor's office will either approve or disapprove them getting the evaluation, depending on looking at the person and whether they think they're a good candidate. The other part of this is if they have restitution in the amount beyond $2,500, they won't qualify. And restitution is the amount that you owe to a victim of a crime.
Okay.
So if they've stolen something...
So this isn't going to be court fines, this is going to be actual restitution.
Right, right. So somebody who's stolen $5,000 worth of things or damaged $5,000 worth of property, they won't qualify for this either.
I see, okay.
And the reason being that they have to pay extra court costs for this, and we want to make sure that they can actually pay off the restitution to the victims.
Okay.
If they have the funds to pay off a certain amount, and they can do that by the time they want to enter drug court, then that'll be a different situation. So some people will qualify because they can pay off the restitution quickly.
Okay.
But,
all right.
That's
all right. Now, I mentioned this earlier. I wasn't planning on asking you this, but you had a good answer. I went to the jail today to talk to one of my clients, okay? And I mentioned to her that I was going to be interviewing you today. And she said to me, well, how come this program is only taking 2 people? Okay, and she says, all of us in here are real upset, okay, about the fact that a lot of us want to get clean and we really need help, but the program's only taking 2 people. Maybe you can clear that up.
Right.
And I don't know if they're going to let this show be shown in the jail or not, okay? But
right, so that's our 2 people a month.
2 people a month.
Is our goal to start out with, because we can only have so many people in the program. And we're starting out with existing resources. That meaning we don't have additional funding. We don't know if we're going to get additional funding, so we're working within people's schedules that are already there. The prosecutor's already there for these cases. Right. The defense attorney's already there for these cases. The judge is already there. The treatment provider is already, treatment is already available to these folks. And so the fact that we have to use existing resources, we can't take everybody. At the same time, if, say, there's 4 people in a month that qualify and are committed and interested, that doesn't mean they're going to get rejected because we have more people. It's not a set number. It's a goal.
Okay. Well, I hope that relieves, some of the concerns for those of you who may be sitting inside listening to this. But Judge, hey, I want to thank you very much for being here. But we got to take a break. We're going to come back. Say goodbye to the judge and thank you for being here, and also talk about how to contact her again. But we need to take a quick break, so stick around. We'll be right back.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on LocalTel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Okay, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnati, thanks for coming back. We're here with Judge Kristin Ferrera from Chelan County Superior Court, talked about drug court. Really appreciate you being here today.
I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Good. Well, tell us once more, if somebody wants a presentation on this or more information, who do they contact?
You can contact the Chelan County Superior Court, you can contact the clerk's office, or they can email you.
Yeah, maddog@nwi.net. If you want to have you or your group need more information on this, want a presentation, send it to me. I'll make sure the judge gets the info. So.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, look, I want to tell you, I'm doing things a little bit differently this week and will be for the next 3 weeks. Now, there's an issue that's been a concern for a lot of us for a long time. This issue of folks who are transgender or who suffer from what the American Psychiatric Association calls gender dysphoria. For the next 3 weeks on the show, folks, I'm going to have a transgender woman on talking about this. Now, what I've learned over the time is that if you actually meet somebody with issues that you have opinions about, you may change your mind, because opinions are fine as long as they're based in fact. And what we're going to do is interview a woman here for the next 3 weeks to help us get a little more information on this area. So I hope you tune in. But hey, Street Talk and other stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnati, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Have a great day. Have a great June, and go Mariners. Bye-bye.